Hey guys, Catlin here. We're starting on our homework here, and I think we begin with lesson 5. Even though we didn't have a lesson on lesson 5, I think these first two are from that. We just kind of skipped it, and these examples should help you if you have a problem like that show up. I think lesson 6 are kind of like number 3 and 4. So let's jump in. We've got a diameter of a bike wheel. So diameter is going to be the distance across the circle from side to side. And that tells us that it's 27, and that wheel is going to be making 15 complete rotations. So that means it's going to be traveling down the road, and every time that it makes a rotation, it doesn't travel 27 inches, it travels the distance around it, which is the circumference. So the first thing we need to do on number 1 is convert from diameter to circumference, which we know has a relationship of a special number that we know as pi. So all we have to do is multiply the diameter times pi, and it'll give us the circumference. So 27 needs to get multiplied by pi. So let's grab our calculator. 27 multiplied by 3.14, and that gives us our circumference of 84 7/78. But it does make 15 complete rotations, so to get our final answer, we have to take 84 7/78 and multiply by 15. And that will give us our total length that it will travel in 15 rotations. And that turns out to be, when we multiply it, 1,271.7. And this was in inches, so inches, and that is our first problem. The second one is very similar to it. The only difference is is giving us circumference, and we have to find out how many times the wheel rotates to go 300 yards. So we already know circumference, so we don't have to do the conversion with pi to get there. We already know that the circumference is 64. So we don't have to multiply it by pi. A lot of students will multiply that by pi just because they're getting in the groove, but we already know the circumference. And we know how far that this wheel that's 64 inches around has traveled. We know that it has gone 300 yards. Thing is, we have a circumference in inches and a distance that it's traveled in yards. So we got to do some converting. Either we need to convert inches to yards or yards to inches. Either way, we need to do a small conversion table. So let's do inches and yards conversion. Now, I know there's 3 foot in a yard, and since we can kind of show that here. We can put feet over here. 3 foot is in 1 yard, and so that would be equivalent to 3 times 12, which is 36 inches. So we know that there's 36 inches per yard. So if we wanted to convert this into yards, then we would need to use the conversion factor, which is divide by 36. So we need to take 64 and divide by 36 and see what that comes out to be. It could tell us how many yards 64 inches is. And that turns out to be a repeating decimal, so not like the best way to do that. So maybe we should go back and try to convert the 300 yards that we have down here, multiply it by 36, come the other direction, and that will tell us how many inches that is, and then we'll have something comparable. So 300 yards is equivalent to 300, since there's 36 inches in a yard, we can multiply it, and we know that 300 yards is the same as 10,800 inches. It's a lot of distance that it has gone, 10,800 inches. So to find out how many times it's spun around, all we have to do is divide that number by 64. So divide it by 64, and we know that it has spun around 168 3/4, and that's our answer, 168 3/4.